I don't know how to begin. Okay, my name is Ellie, and I will be commentating today.
Okay.
Okay. Um, yeah, I was
Are
just
we
looking at the entry logo. They have a logo.
okay?
So it's
Okay.
uh, what fun.
We're currently waiting for the matchup between Entropy and FBI to start up. Going into the map ban and picks, we so far have round one for Red Church, and we do have a hospital ban, very common. Um, for the faction, it seems that the Entropy survivors will be playing first. We are still waiting on the picks and bans currently.
I wonder. I wonder what hunter they'll be preparing for. It's
Mm,
always such a mix. I
Well,
think
as
the
far
top
as
picks for
I
hunter at the
know,
moment.
hmm,
I was just gonna say that there was the two most used hunters at the moment are Gamekeeper and Opera Singer, so I wonder if we'll be seeing one of those come out first.
probably, but I wouldn't say we probably wouldn't see a gamekeeper on Red Church. For the two bans, it does seem that the FBI Hunter has banned Priestess and the Dancer first. Honestly, two very strong
Mm,
support picks for round one bans.
I agree. I mean, to be fair, Priestess on most maps is a bit of a nuisance for any hunter, so I'm not really very surprised that she came out as the first ban.
Hmm. I am curious on what
Um,
Entropy's picks will be, considering the FBI Hunter does have a large hunter pool, from what I've seen in past tournaments.
that'll be interesting. I mean, I suppose that they may ban based on how they want to curate their team.
Uh, we will be seeing a gardener and coordinator picks for round one, which will be later global banned. Based on these picks, I would assume that they're preparing for an opera.
Absolutely, yeah.
Honestly, very
Gardner
common
is
round
used
one.
so much.
Let's see. Oh,
Um,
okay. We are still waiting on the next hunter ban.
Mm,
Are there any survivors that you're hoping to see here?
um, I don't know. Maybe based on the first two picks because if it is like an opera singer, both Gardner and Bird Officer are very strong against a character like hers. So,
Yeah.
mm,
It does look like we'll be seeing a seer ban
um,
for the next hunter ban. And in response, it seems Entropy has picked the mercenary. Not uncommon. Mercenary is a good rescuer. Personally, I wouldn't pick the mercenary if they were preparing for an opera singer, but obviously, I'm pretty sure Entropy has done their research, so they most likely have a plan behind this. Welcome back. And our last ban and our last pick will be the Antiquarian for the ban, and then the Prospector for a pick. Honestly, I'm not surprised Entropy picked the Prospector. On personal knowledge, I do know that they have a very wide selection of Prospector mains on their team.
Prospector is very commonly used now. I find people have kind of realized how strong he is. I think in the recent metas, so I'm always excited to see a Prospector.
Mm. I am excited to see how this Prospector, like, the support will play in.
Me too. It's always a mix. I feel with Prospector because as strong as he is, you also hold the risks of attack recovery and things like that.
Well,
So
especially after that nerf he got a while back, it's really essential that you space out your magnets, especially if you're trying to harass for balloon rescue or anything.
I agree. I think he is extremely strong, but it is important to take note of his weaknesses because his harassment could be heavily relied on, and it won't be good if um, the magnets aren't conserved properly. Mm.
It seems we are waiting on the persona locks at the moment. With a team comp like this, I do wonder if they will go with a suicide build of some sort on at least one of their survivors.
I do commonly see the suicide build on gardeners in competitions like this. Um, so I wonder if they plan on the gardener taking first chase.
Yeah, usually lately we'll see gardeners with the Windows and Tide build. It's not uncommon. I would imagine they could also run that same build on the coordinator though.
I agree. I have also seen it on the coordinators. So I feel like one of the two. Usually with her gun, she can usually guarantee maybe a 60-second containment early game, depending on how well she preserves her gun and takes the kite.
Yeah, let's see.
Oh, we do have the built-in for the survivors. We have a mercenary with Tide and Borrowed Time, a coordinator with Tide,
Windows.
broken. I make them my words. With broken windows. Same with the prospector, the broken windows, Borrowed Time, and the gardener is the one with the tied windows, like we suspected. So I'm assuming she is intended to take first chase in this scenario.
With builds like this, I would assume that they're prepping for an opera singer because normally you wouldn't see a harasser on broken windows unless you're prepping for something like that.
Oh, I agree. I wonder. I'm really curious as to how this will play out. I think the team comp is very strong, but also we don't even know if it will be an opera singer. So it'd be interesting to see how this team adapts if opera singer isn't chosen for this match.
It does seem that FBI is about to lock their hunter in soon. And we will be seeing the opera singer getting locked in.
It looks like the entropy survivors prepared well for this. Um, they've got a pretty solid team composition for this hunter. So
Honestly expected with the bans and everything. Oh, did Lalzi accidentally leave the room?
I think so. Let me exit.
Based on this team composition, who do you think the hunter should chase first, potentially?
I think ideally for the survivors, I'm assuming they'd want the gardener to take first chase, but I feel like the opera singer may go for the coordinator first. Maybe just to get that gun out the way, or she can be a good first chase, is what I'm saying. Because once she's used up her materials, uh, you have to rely a lot on your ability to kite. So I think it'd be very useful to deplete the resources early on into the match.
I would say the mercenary could also be chased. Considering the opera singer dashes, it's very easy for an opera singer to catch up to the mercenary.
I agree. You have to use his elbow pads wisely. I feel he is heavily countered by her in the speed department, but I mean, luckily his delayed damage can buy quite a bit of time, even if he does get early game chase. Even with his recent nerf, it's still quite strong.
That's true. Let's see. Does seem we are waiting on the match to start still.
Okay, going to area spawn. We'll be seeing the coordinator spawning middle, gardener spawning reception, prospector taking shack, mercenary in the middle broken, and opera singer by the back gate. There's a lot of different words for that area.
It's the back gate. Let's see.
So it looks like she might chase the mercenary first.
She
Like you
could also go
suspect.
for the prospector.
That's true. He does only have one magnet early game, so it'd be an interesting chase.
Let's see. Okay, so starting in round 1, we do have the on trophy survivors hunt starting first. And it does seem the opera singer will be going towards that prospector.
He's already rotating into church. It's a very smart idea. Wasting as much time as he can, I assume.
Yeah, and it does seem the coordinator evacuated early on, which is very smart.
Okay, well, she has spotted out the prospector here, so it's just a matter of time before she catches up. And that was a nice teleport back into church to catch up with him. Okay, we'll be guaranteeing that first hit. And oh, she's actually carrying excitement. So I'm assuming that's to guarantee the down. Maybe she intended to chase the prospector or the coordinator first with the excitement.
Beautiful control from the opera singer, honestly, securing the first down relatively fast in the game.
It looks like the ciphers are only halfway done. I feel she may force this coordinator off her cipher. Perhaps trying to encourage an early rescue, but the gardener is coming in.
The gardener did a very good job stalling at the chair.
She did
And
get the hit on the prospector. He's, assuming he's trying to run away from the ciphers. Out into the open. Okay, it looks like the mercenary might be coming in this time, and she didn't actually see him, but she spotted him out now. And I believe they have used up both of their tides now on this prospector.
yeah, unfortunately, the prospector was chaired in like a rather unfortunate position.
Yeah, it's such a difficult chair to rebound from because there's nothing there to work with.
Although the prospector did do a good job dying away from the ciphers in the end.
He did
The
a
tide
he did a
really did
great job.
stall.
I believe they have two more ciphers secured. I think they're only missing one cipher at the moment, but it looks like the opera singer is heading straight towards the coordinator. Ooh, so he managed to get the excitement out there. Um,
With one cipher remaining, it does seem Entropy is doing good for its high position, but they are unfortunately a whole cipher behind, and the mercenary is the one decoding it.
and I think the opera singer might be heading for the basement here. And And unfortunately, the survivors don't have tide. I think the gardener is coming in immediately for the rescue, I believe. They're switching. So I think the mercenary is going to go in for the save. I'm not quite sure where that last cipher is. Ooh. We may be seeing. Oh no. Yeah, we're heading away. I wondered if she was going to try and get a double down on the mercenary too. He's
I
still.
would say they have a tie guarantee if the mercenary manages to pull off this last rescue, but
It looks like she might be pressuring
oh,
the ciphers, so he may
and
be
it
able
does
to go.
seem she switched to abnormal. With this, Entropy might actually have to go for a one man if they can.
Ooh. We got the coordinator down. She's dead on chair. Cypher isn't even half. They may have to try and heal up and reset. Looks like they're both clearing away from that cipher. Looks like the opera singer may have spotted out the mercenary. Yeah. But the gardener started a new cipher, so he's gonna have to contain for quite a while.
It does seem the gardener has swapped out her toolbox for an elbow pad.
She may be looking at.
Unfortunately, due to her decoding that cipher, it does seem the opera knows her location. Even if she rotates out, the opera will be aware of her general location.
Mercenary slowly healing. Even with the elbow pads, Opera's speed is she's too speedy. She'd catch up immediately either way.
Yeah, this is starting to look like a 4K for the FBI Hunter.
Oh, the mercenary has managed to get himself back up, but having him on decoding probably not the best idea since he has the slowest. Oh, that was a knife down on the gardener.
It does seem the mercenary did dig in a chest to get a decoy. I'm assuming they were hoping for a syringe.
Most likely.
Unfortunate luck.
Oh, mm. he ran. He ran into her. I wasn't expecting that. So now she's gonna scope out the gardener. Mercenary has no self heal. Looks like she's over by dungeon, but I think the opera singer probably knows where the dungeon is too.
And honestly, with the gardener with no borrowed time, even if the mercenary managed to finish the cipher, it still would have ended up the same way, I'd assume.
Most likely, it would still end up slugging match like it currently is. It looks like the gardener is trying to go in to get the merc up. I wonder if the opera singer is gonna catch on. I think she's looking around for the tinnitus, but She does manage to get the mercenary back up, but they're both in the same area.
The Enchantment survivors are doing a very good job at stalling this game out.
I agree. This whole match, they've done a very good job of biding their time. But unfortunately, she did get the down on the Gardener. And it looks like the mercenary is running. He might be running around, trying to get back to the Gardener. But she's closing in quick on him. Her speed is insane. She's such a
And
quick hunter.
yeah, and she's caught track of the mercenary.
Yeah, unless he can get it out until the Gardener bleeds out, it is looking like a 4 elimination here. Ooh, nice terror shock from the opera singer. And looks like that will be a four elimination from FBI. They both played very well this match.
I do wonder if the gardener is trying to crawl to the dungeon.
I'm not sure if she'll make it. She's so far away. It looks like she's just out of tonight's range too, so the opera singer has no idea where she's gone.
No, unfortunately, they are both down, so the opera has no way of actually knowing where they are with tinnitus.
I see. Speaking of Deer Hunt, that's the train I'm thinking of.
It does seem
Um,
that we're just waiting on Entropy to surrender. um, yeah, the hunter just seems to be waiting now.
there's nothing else you can really do.
I will admit, though, beautiful shadow control from the opera singer here.
Oh, she was amazing with it. I opera people who are good at opera singing never fail to amaze me because it can be very difficult to like control the shadows in the leaping. At least for me, you have to be like very quick with it.
Yeah, it does seem the hunter was trying to guarantee the gardener would bleed out.
Oh, it was well played from both sides here. I think both teams played very well this match.
Yeah, I would say Entropy had very good palette discipline considering the hunter was swinging at some of the pellets and they did wait instead of getting hit through them.
Oh,
So we will be going into the round one second half pick soon.
honestly, entropy may have to I can't think of the words. They're really gonna have to live up from last match with the 4-man elimination. I think FBI, they only really need a 1-man elimination to still be in the lead. I mean 1-man escape to stay in the lead here. But we'll have to see how the second half goes.
Oh, I don't know if he's listening, but I kind of have an obligation to do this now. I will shout out to my biggest op, Lucifer, right now.
What did he do?
He knows what he did.
That's so that's so ominous.
He knows.
You know, public shaming. Oh, we are just waiting for the Ian Survivor bands. I wonder.
Oh, sorry, Lulzy. You can invite me again.
Okay. Oh, so it looks like the Ian Hunter, his first two bands are the Mercenary and the Seer.
From what I've heard, the current Ian Hunter seems to be a lizard main, so I would assume the Mercenary and Seer bands are to guarantee that he can most likely stuff some rescues.
Most likely, I mean, Lizard has a fairly good camp, to be fair, and he's also a lot stronger now after his buff with his jumps. I've seen a lot more people play him since his buff.
And we are waiting to see who FBI are gonna pick as their two global bands. Honestly, with their Survivor lineup, I am curious to see who they will be picking.
Me too. I wonder um if they're gonna prepare for a lizard counter team, assuming that Entropy's Hunter does play lizard, or whether they'll be um going for a
Oh,
opera counter.
it does seem that we're gonna have an acrobat and a magician lock-in.
Oh, so I'm
Two very
assuming.
strong kiting picks.
Oh, absolutely. Acrobat's always been very strong. Same with Magician. I've seen Magician used a lot too, especially in like other um ah overthinking encounter teams. I've seen him used quite a bit since she came out.
Mm. With these two picks, I do wonder if they are preparing for a lizard or if they're trying to prepare for an opera.
I think the next two picks may be more telling to where they go with this, but um I think Acrobat's fairly strong against both. He's a very versatile character. I think that's why he's so strong.
It does seem we are waiting on the next survivor ban at the moment. Are there any survivors that you're wanting to see from FBI?
Mm, I'm not sure. I'm mostly curious to see where this team's going. I always like seeing First Officer, but I'm a little bit biased towards him. But it's always fun seeing him in matches because he is such a huge time waster.
I'm very curious to see who some of these who some of these players are gonna play. The only one I've seen play Survivor in tournaments is their team captain, and then the other three, I don't think I've really seen them play Survivor much in tournaments, if at all.
Okay. Oh, it looks like they're coming in with a priestess. Is that a ban?
Yeah, Priestess ban
Yeah,
for the next one.
which is
Uh, Honestly, not uncommon. Priestess support is strong on this map. Not a lot of people prefer it, but the Priestess ban does make sense eventually. Oh, and it does seem in response they have locked in the first officer, so you got your wish.
First Officer is I love First Officer. He's one of my favorite IDV characters. So I always love seeing him being played and seeing people who know how to play him play him.
Oh, and it does seem our last picks and bans have been chosen relatively fast. We have a forward ban, and then in response, the last pick was Antiquarian.
Ooh, Antiquarian coming out.
Honestly, very strong harassers were picked and banned for the last places. I am excited to see how FBI is gonna play around this comp they chose.
Hmm. And we are just waiting for the Survivor build.
Yeah, it does seem we are waiting on the persona lock-ins right now.
Do you think anyone on this team would be fit to bring a suicide build?
Um, I would say if anyone, then the mage, but from what I remember, the players on this team don't particularly go with suicide builds often. Oh, and
Mm.
yeah, we will be seeing the persona lock-ins, which is tied on first officer, the antiquarian with flywheel, acrobat with flywheel, the magician with flywheel, and I'm assuming they all have borrowed time. So it does seem that they are preparing for a lizard with all the flywheels.
I think the magician is carrying broken windows.
Yeah. I
Um,
would assume that is because with the decoys, it would be like a built-in flywheel.
oh, that's true. It's interesting. I'm excited to see what hunter is going to be brought out.
And it does seem we will be seeing a lizard lock-in, just like they thought.
Oh, it's so exciting. Um,
And let's see. And the lizard will be bringing the up-down build, detention and confined space. So we'll probably be seeing a blink lizard, considering with the jumps on this map, he wouldn't have much trouble catching up to the opposite gate.
that's true, and the blink can also guarantee the first down.
Honestly, with this lineup, I am curious to see who the lizard is going to chase first. This is a very strong team comp.
Hmm. So it's like we'll be having the first officer in reception, antiquarian in church, acrobat in shack, and the magician in the middle broken area with the lizard spawning in graveyard.
Mm, does seem that they probably want the magician to take the chase first.
Most likely.
Though
That's a
with no
very
presence, the magician is going to be a relatively difficult first chase.
he's in a fairly strong area too, so
Yeah.
I wonder if the lizard will take chase to the magician or try to deplete the first officer's resources. It's always useful to get rid of those watches because they're very, very strong.
Okay, starting round two, second half, it does seem we have the lizard on his way to the magician, and the magician, taking wind of that, has already begun his rotation.
Oh, we got a peeper lizard. Ooh,
Beautiful
nice
wand from the
one.
magician. The lizard does seem a little confused from that wand.
He knows the magician's there. Ooh, another amazing wand.
We will be seeing a hit here, though. I would say this is a relatively early first hit, and the magician does only have one wand to work with, so we will be seeing how he plays along with that.
We see a nice jump from the lizard. And
This
now,
magician is doing a very good job mind gaming the lizard, though, with his wand usage.
absolutely. Ooh, nice terror shock from the lizard.
And with the magician with 0 items and the lizard at first presence, I am curious to see whether they're gonna play it safe and rescue one time before selling, or we'll have to see how good the magician's rebound is with no items.
I think it will be interesting to see, and he was away from any of the ciphers, so the lizard can't really pressure. Ooh, got the
Oh,
hit on the first officer. I wonder if we'll be seeing a double down situation here.
and it does seem
Yeah,
we
got
will be
a.
seeing a double down. The magician dying inside of the church corner. It does seem the antiquarian is coming in for the support. Oh my, beautiful support from the antiquarian. Unfortunately, the magician did go down again.
Ooh, a nice flywheel from the antiquarian. And she's used up about 50% of her stick. She
She
doesn't.
has about 3 hits left on her stick.
I'm going straight for the antiquarian.
It does seem the antiquarian is going for the rescue. The ciphers do seem to be a good way. As long as they can manage to keep this magician alive.
Ooh, a hit on the antiquarian. I do have to say though, this lizard's control when he jumps is really cool. When he was catching up to the antiquarian,
It does seem that they have the antiquarian on standby.
looks like she won't make it for the harassment. So she may be the next target here.
Though the cipher is almost primed at 85% at the moment. I do believe the cipher will be primed by the time the antiquarian goes down. Oh,
Oh,
and they just pop it.
I guess that makes sense since the lizard is a double hit hunter.
I believe they did pop it because the lizard had the antiquarian did have a lot of distance on the lizard. This
She's a boat.
antiquarian is doing a very good job with her stick usage, though she will be going down here. And with only peepers, it does seem that FBI will be getting a tie.
Oh, that was very well played from both ends. It was amazing support from the antiquarian, and the magician's first chase was also really good.
Yeah, both teams are doing a very good job. And our current score will be 7-2 in favor of FBI, with FBI being the winners of round one. And we will currently be starting the map pick and bans for round two.
Hmm. What maps do you think um will likely be banned for round two?
Mm, with Sacred already being out of the way and Church played already, I would think we would see either a Lakeside or a Moonlit ban for round two.
Hmm.
Um, Generally speaking, Chinatown, Ever Sleeping, those are very commonly picked between the teams.
Uh,
Is there any map that you'd prefer to see for round two?
I always enjoy seeing gameplay on Ever Sleeping. Um, but I also think like it would be interesting to watch on them play on Lakeside too. It's a very large map with a lot of open area, similar to Moonlit. But
Yeah, I haven't seen a Lakeside pick in a while. Oh, it does seem that Entropy will be banning Eversleeping. Honestly, it's very rare to see Eversleeping be banned lately. A lot of teams often choose Eversleeping, if anything.
hmm,
With Eversleeping being out of the way, I do wonder if FBI will pick a bigger map.
I think um maybe Moonlit. Yeah, Moonlit.
Hmm. Are there any hunters that you're hoping to see here?
Um, maybe a disciple. I see a disciple used a lot, and her gameplay is always very enjoyable to watch. I think.
That is true. With a bigger map like Moonlit, though, the Disciple would have to bring Trump card, if anything, or teleport from the start.
This, that's true. I do see a lot of disciples solely bring teleport, but I don't know how well that fares with her because I'm not a disciple player.
For Moonlit, oh, it does seem that the Entropy survivors will be playing first.
Hmm.
Hmm. From what I know, the FBI Hunter is a very good Geisha and Clerk player, and Geisha and Clerk are very strong on Moonlit.
Ooh, I wonder if we'll be seeing a clerk come out today.
I think I personally want to see the Geisha.
I think both would be very enjoyable to watch. Um,
It does seem our first two bands will be the Mercenary and the Seer.
ooh,
Honestly, common bands, the Mercenary with his elbow pads can get across the map very quickly.
hmm. I wonder if we'll also be seeing another priestess ban, especially on a large map like Moonlit.
Oh, we will not be seeing the Priestess band though, because Entropy has picked Patient and Priestess for their first two blocks.
Ooh, that's interesting. Two very, very strong characters on this map.
Honestly, I would like to see if Entropy picks the Psychologist for their one of their next Survivor locks. You don't often see Patient and Psychologist duos being used often.
And that's true, and it's a shame because their little running to each other trait is it can be useful in certain circumstances.
Yeah, and it does seem Entropy will be banning the opera singer. Honestly, understandable, especially after that round one. And we will have our next ban, which is the acrobat. Honestly, that is very understandable considering Entropy already has two very strong survivors on this map. Acrobat would Acrobat is one of the strongest kiters on Moonlit, so it does make sense to get the Acrobat out of the way.
I agree. I mean, if similarly to Patient, he's very strong on the like first and fourth stop areas. So I think banning the acrobat was definitely the best play here.
Yeah, and Entropy will be locking in the Embalmer. It does seem that they are trying to at least get a one-man escape, especially with the Embalmer on a larger map, but they will have to play around the coffin pretty smart.
Ooh.
I am curious to see who Entropy is going to lock in last. Unless they plan on putting the patient on Tide, it does seem that they need a rescuer to lock in still.
Mm,
It does seem we will be seeing the first officer banned. So now we have the mercenary and the first officer being banned. So Entropy have less rescuers to work with unless their patient is the rescuer.
we could also see maybe an aeroplanist come out because he's also very good on this map and he is a strong rescuer as well.
We might see the aeroplanist or we might see a gravekeeper come out. I know that the Entropy has one of the former first gravekeeper on their team.
Oh, goalkeeper may be a possible pick then.
It does seem we are still waiting for that last lock in. And it does seem we will be seeing the gravekeeper locked in for the last pick.
Honestly, a very, very solid team. Um, on this map. I am excited to see what the builds will be on the survivors.
I am curious to see what the priestess, how the priestess is gonna play into this. It's not very often you get a priestess let into this map or this kind of strong map for her.
I
So I am
agree.
curious to see how Entropy will play with the priestess and everything.
Honestly, she's basically like constantly perma banned on this map, so I'm also very excited to see how she will play into this match.
Especially with the Embalmer and Priestess. They could possibly play around a coffin with the global portal support. And we will be waiting for the persona lock-ins.
Okay, so it looks like we got the survivor builds in, and we will be seeing a gravekeeper with tide and borrowed time, a patient with tide and borrowed time, a priestess with broken windows, borrowed time, and an embalmer with flywheel and borrowed time.
Honestly, common builds. I am surprised the Embalmer isn't on a suicide build, but at the same time, Entropy might be banking on the Embalmer to give Coffin to another one of these survivors. So it would make more sense for the Embalmer to bring borrowed time if that is the case behind their plan.
Maybe. I wonder who who would be the best first chase scenario for any hunter. Really, this seems like a very strong team for this map. I'm very excited to see how this match is going to play out.
I would say that depends on spawn points. I would assume that they are going to put the patient at the fourth stop.
Yeah, that's generally where they'd put him. Maybe the gravekeeper or the priestess in middle. Oh, looks like we will be seeing a geisha come out for this lineup.
And it does seem that the geisha will be bringing detention and the trump card.
So that's a pretty standard geisha build.
I am curious to see how they're going to play around the geisha with her dashes. She can definitely catch up very quickly,
I think
especially
that's
across the bridge and everything. The priestess portals kind of lose their effect. I would say just slightly.
the best thing about geisha on this map is they can be very intimidating to go against.
Yeah, and especially considering it is a geisha, the patient at fourth stop does lose much of his kiting potential. Just
Mm,
considering she counters his hooks.
I wonder who the geisha plans on giving chase to.
Honestly, I would say just about any of these chases are pretty viable for the geisha. Just depending on who she spawns near, she could get rid of the coffin early if she wants. She could get rid of the priestess support early.
That's true.
Patient won't be as hard of a chase as she should be at the fourth stop because it is a geisha.
feel like maybe I feel like the Mbama would be a good first chase. Oh, so we will be seeing Patient at first stop and the Priestess on bridge. Mbama at two-story and the Gravekeeper at fourth stop.
It does seem they want to put the Gravekeeper in a relatively safer location, and the priestess can rotate out, but it is a geisha, so
Hmm. I wonder if the Geisha will give chase to the Mbama or the Patient first. I feel like even though she can counter Patient at the first stop, Patient can still buy a lot of time with how strong he is in that area.
yeah. I would say it's very dependent on this first chase in general. Oh, it does seem the geisha doesn't want to deal with either the embalmer or the patient and is going straight for that priestess.
Honestly, getting rid of Priestess early on this map is a very good idea, especially because she only spawns in with is it two portals, I believe.
Yeah, it's two portals.
Oh,
Oh, and it does
oh,
seem the priestess did portal herself right into the basement, so that will be a free hit on the geisha.
oh, that's unfortunate. That's the only issue playing around this area is Priestess.
Yeah, that is a very unfortunate basement location for the priestess.
Oh, and looks like the Priestess goes down relatively early, I'd say. Um, Probably mostly because of her accidentally portaling into basement. And it looks like the geisha will be pressuring the patient's cipher.
Yeah, this geisha is. Yeah, this geisha definitely slayed.
He really did. She came in knowing what she had to do, and she definitely did it.
Oh, and it
Oh,
does. Oh, the
oh,
priestess did get the portal trick off.
um, just a loop of small house now. Yeah,
The priestess does seem to be doing a very good job um, while the survivors are decoding, though they are behind an entire cipher.
I believe the priestess got saved. Oh no, yeah, she did get saved after half. Says the priestess eliminated, and patient trying to make his way towards the first stop. Ooh, cancelled the hook. This is very nice from the geisha. And when the patient goes down, this geisha's she's really quick with her butterflies.
This geisha has very beautiful control over her butterflies and overall map support or map control, considering she knew exactly where the embalmer would be coming from and moved in quickly to cut him off.
Looks like she did miss the first two hits, but she'll like to get this one. And I only just realized that the geisha had blink and didn't use it, but looks like she changed to warp.
It does seem we will be seeing a pause at the moment. I do believe it's a pause because I don't think warp was allowed in this tournament, was it?
Ah, I see.
Yeah, we are gonna be waiting for a mod decision, I guess.
Okay, it looks like the DX used warp by accident, but he didn't really use it, so we will be continuing with the matches. Is
Yeah, he did cancel the warp. Oh, beautiful rescue from the embalmer here.
and the geisha just immediately catches up despite the hook usage. And I believe there's still a full cipher behind, and only the gravekeeper is decoding. Oh no, they have the ciphers, but she's cheering on it.
I will say the geisha has no trait to work around now because the warp isn't allowed. So she is just running with just attention now.
It looks like she's trying to scout out the gravekeeper. Yeah.
With the gravekeeper running in the open though, it was only a matter of time until she did find him.
It looks like the embalmer got himself up pretty quickly. Um, the geisha will be going back. Ideally, he should get as far away from his coffin as possible.
I will say that honestly the only option they have right now is for the gravekeeper to start a new cipher or rotate to the one already worked on, and the embalmer would have to kite long enough.
Ooh, that was a
So
beautiful flywheel from the embalmer.
it will be a little difficult considering it is a gravekeeper decoding.
That is true. The embalmer will have to contain. Oh, and he goes down. It looks like the gravekeeper is in the small tent, but I'm not sure
Oh, it
the
does seem the
geisha realizes.
embalmer does not want to use his coffin. With no self heal and no not using the coffin, the only option he has is for the gravekeeper to somehow come around and heal him.
It looks like that is what the gravekeeper is planning to do, but the geisha knows he's in the area, and I'm not sure they'll get the heal off.
Oh, it does seem that they did
Oh,
get the heal off.
that
And
is
the
another.
embalmer will be using his coffin now.
Oh, that was a nice palace stone from the embalmer.
With the cipher at 50%, it does seem the geisha will be switching off to that gravekeeper.
I think the embalmer might be going to the 75% cipher. Try to get that done while the gravekeeper contains. He does have one shovel remaining, but it looks like the geisha's aware of what's happening and is going back for the embalmer.
Oh, and it does
Oh,
seem that they will be popping it.
the embalmer has nothing to work with and no self heal. Ooh, nice dodge. But he
With
does
the
go
down
down.
relatively fast, the geisha just has to make it, just has to find the gravekeeper.
Well, unfortunately, the geisha doesn't have a trait to work with, so he isn't able to teleport across the map to catch up to the gravekeeper.
Mm, the gravekeeper just barely made it to the gate, but it doesn't seem he's going to push it. I would assume he's trying to go for a dungeon escape, if anything.
Most likely, he may also be trying to make his way back to the embalmer, but the geisha is patrolling the whole area.
They could potentially go for a dungeon escape. If the gravekeeper plays this smart, he does have half of a shovel and full health to work around if he can last the last 40 seconds of detention and till the embalmer bleeds out.
Does look like she'll be going towards the gate. I believe the gravekeeper is going in for the embalmer, maybe? But the geisha is quickly making her way back over there. So I feel he may get found out here.
I would say even if the gravekeeper manages to get the embalmer, it would still be a one-man escape at most.
It does look like the geisha has found the gravekeeper. The
Yeah, and it
tension
does.
is up. Ooh, nice red light trick from the geisha. Okay, the shovel's use.
Um, it does seem the embalmer is on top of dungeon, but he would still have to wait for the gravekeeper's chair time to expire, and I'm not sure if the gravekeeper would bleed out before then, honestly.
Oh, that was a nice down from the geisha onto the gravekeeper. And it looks like this will be a 4-man elimination from the geisha. He played very well. To be fair, he was aggressive.
Yeah, beautiful job from this geisha. She honestly had very good map control, especially working with just attention afterwards and no other trait.
She really did manage to bring it back after the accidental use of warp.
I will say the hunter did a good job canceling the warp in time before anything was final on it.
Yeah, they put it up and cancelled it immediately. I think they realized right after they used it.
Yeah, I would assume it was on instinct, if anything.
Most likely, it has been out for a while, and a lot of people have adjusted to using it. So it was probably like just a habit, a habitual thing for the hunter.
We will be moving into the second half picks and bans soon. It does seem Entropy will be keeping their lineup, which means that the hunter will not be switching out or anything.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. Um, I'm curious to see how this next round will go after the intensity of last match. I have to say, FBI's Hunter is um, like played Geisha very well and really utilized her on that map.
I would definitely say the Entropy Survivors had a very strong game to begin with.
They
So it
did.
was
They
unfortunate with the basement placement on the priestess.
Yeah, I feel like the priestess accidentally portaling into the basement is what kind of shifted the game um a little
It
bit.
it really secured that early down at the start.
I think portaling into basement happens to the best of us, to be honest. Okay, it looks like Entropy will be banning Mercenary and Antiquarian.
Honestly, the Mercenary and Antiquarian bans make sense. Especially considering how strong the Antiquarian from FBI last round played.
Yeah, her support was amazing in the last match. So I would also ban Antiquarian in that scenario. She's not a character I enjoy going up against as Hunter.
And it does seem we are gonna wait on the Hunter ban from FBI. Um, it does seem that FBI is going to ban the lizard. It seems they did forget that Acrobat was global banned. But for now, we have a seer pick for their
Who looks like they'll be
lawyer
coming
and
out with a
seer.
lawyer.
Lawyer's a very strong pick. You often see him. He does help with rotations.
Lawyer, lawyer is very strong. Ever since his buff, I see him used constantly. Um, he's just extremely versatile, and I think that's what makes him kind of scary to go against. Because he's strong in all aspects, despite being a Dakota character.
Yeah, and it does seem we'll be seeing a first officer ban. First officer makes sense. Very strong rescuer. Um, let's see. Especially considering they did ban the Merc, it lowers the rescuer pool for them. And it does seem we'll be seeing the priestess lock in. Honestly, very surprising. We don't see many priestesses getting let out. And it does seem that the priestess was let out again.
I'd be
Um,
very interested to see how this priestess plays. Hopefully, no basement portals. That would be unfortunate. The repeat, but
it does seem that the last we'll be seeing a forward ban and then a composer pick. You don't often see composer being picked.
composer is not what I expected. To be honest, very interesting pick.
Well,
The
we
double
do have,
decode is strong.
yeah, the cipher rush will definitely be there with the two decoders in the field. And depending on the kiting capabilities of the players, honestly, the kites might actually be pretty long, depending on how they make use of their speed boost with the composer and the lawyer map usage.
They also have priestess for support, which will be very useful for them, I believe, and also seer support. I feel like this This is a very well thought out team.
It does seem the composer will be having Flywheel and Borrowed Time, the lawyer with Flywheel and Borrowed Time, the seer with Flywheel and Borrowed Time, and
The priestess with
yeah.
flywheel tide.
So it does seem that they're gonna opt for their priestess to be their rescuer.
It's in. It's interesting.
I'm more surprised they didn't put it on the lawyer, but it does seem that they're wanting, just in case the lawyer or the composer end up chased, they're wanting the borrowed time insured on their decoders.
I think that's probably the smartest play on their part. I wonder what kind of hunter they're expecting with this team composition.
Mhm. Oh, and it does seem we'll be seeing a gamekeeper lock in.
Oh,
Gamekeeper is very strong in this map. You often see him being played a lot in competitive lately. I'm not surprised at the Gamekeeper pick, honestly, especially on Moonlit. He's very strong. I am
this
curious to see how the FBI survivors will play around this.
luckily they all bought flywheel, and flywheel is one of the best builds to have against a gamekeeper.
And it does seem that the Gamekeeper will be bringing insolence and detention. So I would assume he would be bringing teleport on a map like this, unless he just wants to rely on the hooks to help him catch up, but that's unlikely considering it will still take a while. So it's most likely teleport we'll see as a trait here. Yeah.
Oh shit.
Let's see. Um, the hunter will have to get a 4K here if Entropy wants to guarantee a round 3. So we'll have to see how much pressure this gamekeeper can bring to this team composition.
I think this team comps build are very well equipped to face a gamekeeper, but also his hooks are they can be quite deadly sometimes. Um and Gamekeeper, I feel with him being used more, people know how to really like prevent a good chase with him. So like you see a lot of gamekeepers set up a lot of traps fairly early on in good areas.
It does seem we'll be seeing the lawyer at the first stop, priestess second stop, composer at the third stop, and seer at the fourth stop. Honestly, this spawn isn't what most teams do, but it's pretty useful considering they can turn off all the stops and help that coaster guarantee.
Hmm. It looks like the gamekeeper will be spawning between the priestess and the lawyer. May take chase to lawyer first.
I wouldn't be surprised if the gamekeeper chooses to go for the priestess just to cut off that early support and um just overall to try to ensure a quick down because the priestess is in a very unconventional spot to begin with. But it does seem the priestess will be immediately rotating into the two-story.
It looks like the gamekeeper will be pursuing her first. Two-story area is fairly decent. The kite is priestess, and we see peepers. Ooh, that was a nice hook and portal cancel from the gamekeeper.
And it does seem the gamekeeper is going with peepers once again for this run. So peepers is all he has to work with.
Ooh,
Beautiful owl
nice.
from the seer.
It looks like the priestess's flywheel is back up too, so she may be able to avoid another hit after the hook if she times it correctly. It looks like the gamekeeper will be trying to lock off this area, which is probably for the best. It is a very strong area. Oh, early flywheel from the priestess, and she goes down here. That was not a bad containment for the priestess.
It was not bad, and I would say that owl did help a lot in ensuring that the priestess can get out to stop herself from going into the basement.
Did a very nice job with the owl. Looks like they have two ciphers down, and I think the composer and the lawyer are here.
Yeah, it does seem the composer and the lawyer are going for a double rescue. Honestly, beautiful rescue from the composer. Just ensuring that the priestess was rescued and not taking a terror shock.
It looks like the priestess will be continuing to loop the two-story.
Yeah,
Um,
with the peepers around, it's definitely hard for her to rotate out.
oh, nice hit onto the priestess. Bolting at that window. Does look like both the lawyer and the composer on the last two ciphers, but the Bane will be chairing on the lawyer cipher, and I believe the seer may be coming in either to save or to try and get an owl ready for endgame.
And it
Oh, that was a nice hook from the Bane onto the seer.
honestly, it's a very good thing that the for FBI that the gamekeeper switched off. As long as the priestess stays out of the gamekeeper's view, it'll be very hard for this gamekeeper to ensure a tie or a 4K, especially since
Mm,
the priestess is long gone.
it does look like the seer and the composer are opening a new cipher while the gamekeeper chases the lawyer.
This
But
lawyer's kite will have to be very good though when all of the survivors are injured and can't rescue at the moment.
I agree, although I'm not sure changing targets from the priestess was the best idea, but it looks like he has spotted out the priestess. Oh, decided to give chase to the composer instead. Which honestly for the best with the dead on chair priestess.
Yeah, it does seem that the gamekeeper will be changing off of the lawyer at the moment while the seer pushes the cipher.
Looks like the cipher is around 80.
Yeah.
Um,
The
lawyer
lawyer
may
does
save.
no longer have self heal or a flywheel to work with though.
Oh,
And oh, it does seem they will just pop it. And the lawyer wants to go for that rescue. Oh,
ooh.
With all the survivors on the same side of the map, I'm not sure how this is going to play out for them. The priestess does have that global portal though to ensure they can at least get a one man out, depending on how they play around this.
It looks like the gamekeeper is just ensuring nobody comes in for the save.
Yeah, with that tinnitus there, he is kind of stuck right now.
The seer has almost opened the gate, so
Yeah, it
I'm
does seem that we
assuming.
will be getting a tie from FBI survivors. Honestly, well played from both sides. The gamekeeper did have a very strong endgame there. It was really unfortunate he couldn't keep up the momentum.
I agree. It was very well played from both sides. They both did a very good job in this
Yeah.
match.
And with that, it does seem that FBI will be winning 14-4. Honestly, both teams did a very good job.
I agree. They were all of the matches were very intense to watch. I think, and both sides played beautifully, in my opinion.
Yeah, you
Um,
can honestly see that Entropy did a lot of research considering their team comps and everything for these past few matches. They really worked well against the hunter that was chosen against them.
I agree. They did an amazing job. Both I think both teams did, but I do have to say congratulations to FBI for winning this set.
Are we doing another matchup on stream or no? Okay. All right. That's the end between Entropy and FBI. FBI will be making the playoffs for the next matchups. We do have other matchups later on in the day, but I'm unsure if they'll be streamed or not. Thank you for tuning in. Oh, okay. Well, they're both being recorded. Well, thank you for tuning in.